Off Limits is the money podcast that blows up stereotypes, showing you that managing money doesn't have to be hard.
We want you to thrive, not only with your money, but in every part of your life.
What you will get out of this podcast is real, relatable, and relevant tips and strategies that you can apply today. Hi, I'm Donald Raymond, and this is
Christine Spiak. We are money coaches, business owners, and colleagues who are passionate about helping you become more of who you are. So if you're ready, join us. Break it down for our listeners. Someone who has never worked with a financial advisor before, maybe if we start there and kind of create a picture for them of really what's their first step. And I know Donald said start early, but what is early? Like, is it ever too late? Can you walk us through the process of someone who's looking for that financial advisor?
Absolutely. You could do business virtually, you could do it in person. So I would start there internally. How do I want a relationship? Do I want that local person where I could walk to their office? Doesn't have to be. So it's what your comfort level is with someone on either the screen or in person. Make sure you interview a few, see what their philosophy is. Are they a fiduciary acting in your best interest? And know that you have to be open during this process in order for them to appropriately guide you and advise you.
We got to stop there for a minute because I love that you said that. It's like going to the doctor's office with chest pain, but telling them you're there for something going on with your eye, right? Or whatever it may be. If we're not forthcoming with our physicians, with our financial advisors, then we're tying their hands for them. They can't work to the best of their ability because they don't have a complete picture.
Yep.
They don't know what's holistically going on with our money or our lives.
Absolutely. And if this is your first time, it's okay to be uncomfortable. We as advisors people, I say this, I retire every day. I work with a lot of retirees. Although I physically don't, but I bring someone from growth or accumulation into retirement. So just know who you're working with. And to answer the question of, is it ever too late? No, just know that how much you might need to put towards your goals it has to be realistic,
right?
Or you're going to adjust your goals, right? The sooner you can start, the better. If you can save for your children while they're young, great. Don't, forego saving for retirement because there's no loan for retirement. Your first job, jump in, just start with something and make sure you're increasing over time. If your employer offers you a retirement plan, that's great, right? You know if it's in your bank account, if you're doing your zero budget, it's being allocated someplace. But if it doesn't go to that bank account yet, great. You know it's going into your retirement account. So the sooner you can start, the better.
I want to flip to the other side. So is it ever too late? But you said something earlier, and I kind of have a personal experience with this where it was an epiphany for me, where I had been saving into retirement a small amount for years, and it was not inspiring, right? I was using an employee or an employer-sponsored plan. I was putting the minimum amount that I could put in there because I was living on all of my cash, right? And I wanted as much money back to me as possible. So I participated, but not aggressively, right? I wasn't trying to maximize the match or any of that. So this is my first job out of college. And for years and years and years, it really just didn't seem like it was growing. But then all of a sudden, just exponential growth overnight. I started putting more in, the market started, contributing more because now the balances are higher. And that really, for me, was the incentive. And this is now, 20 plus years ago. But that for me was really the inspiration that I needed to really change my personal financial philosophy to this retirement thing is no joke. This could actually work. Nobody actually told me that. I had to figure that out on my own. But all of a sudden, I started to see that curve go up and get steeper and steeper, and I got really excited about that. But what is the experience out there, just your experience, and how long does it take to get some of this going on average? Somebody getting started, maybe they're in college, just out of college, they've gotten their first job. What does that typically look like for most people? Do you have a a baseline there? I know I'm putting you on an island here, but
I think the 5 to 10 year mark. And again, retirement's that long-term goal, right? You really got to work and figure out the short, medium, long-term, and you have to have patience, right? You're going to have market and business cycles. It's going to be up and down. Don't be afraid of that. And as you get closer to retirement, that can become scary. But you have to know how your plan is set up and why.
And I think for me, I'm speaking and I'm giving you an opportunity there to really speak to those younger candidates, right? I mean, these are people just like me 20 years ago or more now. Won't go into the exact number.
Or less.
You're aging yourself. We're not doing it to you.
So when I was getting started, though, I did not have a good understanding or appreciation that I needed to be patient. I thought, hey, put money in and it's going to pay me back. And then, here I am 5, 6, 7 years later, and I haven't seen the value of my efforts, and about that time I was changing careers. And so I was looking at rolling that over into an IRA and everything around me was changing. And that's when I started to interact with it more. But yeah, I think that's really important. Anybody out there that doesn't know that it's going to take, for me, I think that 7-year mark was about where I started to see that change. And not dramatically, but it started to move up for really the first time that I could tell. And I think that speaks to two things, just having the patience and also, like you said, don't interact with this every day. Don't be the person that checks in on your retirement every month. That's not a number that is important to anyone, really. It shouldn't be. It's not something you need to track. Let you guys track that. That's your job, right? Thank you for joining us on this episode of Off Limits.
Beyond the podcast, we are money coaches who want to help you.
So if you are looking for help managing your money, use the links in the description below to contact either of us and learn how coaching can help you thrive.
Lastly, please help us to spread the word by subscribing, leaving a comment, and sharing our podcast with your friends and family.